Hi guys, I've got my trusty whiteboard today. Apologies in advance for my audio. As per my last email, I said I was going to share a little around your Kundalini and where it should be. If this is a term that is new for you, please read up about it, have a look online, have a look at some videos. Just quickly, our Kundalini is a creator energy, and essentially it is a life force that sits within all of us and is usually dormant. It's very, very powerful, physical, spiritual, sexual creator energy. For the most part, that stays dormant down at the base of the spine. And in her rising, in the feminine form of this energy, when she awakens and when she arises from her dormant state, she can then move up through the channel, through the chakra system, and activate all the different chakras. Now, we also have Kundalini yoga. And a problem that I've come across, and a lot of people, is when the Kundalini has activated without conscious intention, sometimes it can rise up and people don't know how to cope with getting that energy to stabilize. Because this energy is so incredibly powerful, it vortexes inside whichever chakra it gets stuck in. For the everyday person who has just been functioning on the lower levels and they're just opening up to the spirit realm and opening up to energy and intuitive abilities and sensitivities, when you're at that new part of this transition, your energy is still very susceptible for its spiritual puberty, if you will. You are going through a transition. You need to get from one vibrational state into the next. Now, if your Kundalini activates and rises up through here, it can cause a overwhelm energetically. Imagine that energy that sits at the base of your spine is like a generator, and it is full to the brim of incredibly powerful electrical charge. All of a sudden it has activated on its own and it rises up through the chakras. So what it will do is it will overstimulate and seriously overpower that center. So who's to say where it's going to stop, right? We don't know where it's going to stop, and a lot of the time it'll pop up here to the third eye, right? And we almost get to that state of bliss. And if our Kundalini has risen all the way to the top and it has risen to the third eye, our third eye also governs reality, okay? So if you imagine that your reality has just been overpowered by this generator source of creator energy, it has the power to also activate spiritual psychosis. So what we want to do is have a intentional control over Kundalini. And when we're doing Kundalini practices, that's what it's all about, is learning control. Unfortunately, for some people, when it just activates on its own and we have an awakening, there's a loss of control and lack of control. So what we want to do is we want to bring that energy down wherever it has gotten stuck if you haven't activated it yourself. And we want to bring it back down to its dormant state. We want it to be activated when we want it to be activated. Because with that creator energy, it has the ability to help us shed the darkness because of how light this source really is. So if we activated it on our own, we can clear into a blissful state through every single chakra and make our way through with this beautiful serpentine energy, which is life force and the creation of the universe. And if we do that consciously, we can move through each chakra one by one and cleanse and heal and Also integrate wounds from different past lives and also this life. So when we do it at will, then we are learning control of a very strong, powerful source of energy. One thing I notice sometimes with Kundalini yoga, if we are learning from somebody who's only had a weekend course, doesn't understand the power of Kundalini energy. Sometimes during that yoga session, people can have an activation and it has risen up, but it hasn't been brought back down. Because of that, bringing back into context the idea that we have an overcharge or an overstimulation of all of this powerful electricity into one place, it can knock people around quite a bit, cause some pretty major instability in the energetic realm and emotional realm. So we want to bring that back down into dormancy. Choose when we turn it on, but make sure it always comes back down to its housing. Until we've learned how to rise in our frequencies and we've learned how to operate in these different frequencies, then we can activate and, I guess, sometimes house the Kundalini in different places while we learn. But it's only once we've learned the stability of frequencies. Okay? Coming back to if it were stuck up here, right? Our sense of reality is connected to the third eye. So a lot of people will have this awakening and these upper chakras have been activated. So what's going to happen is you're going to hear. You're going to listen and hear different frequencies, things that aren't there. And understand different frequencies because you're now blown open on these different levels. But we want stability, we want groundedness. If you guys want to check into groundedness, jump over to my website and have a look at Eternal Beginnings. It's the first place we always start, okay? And that course will show you a couple of strong and necessary tools for this process of opening up. Now, if these ones are blown open, our energy to source and energy to the divine can be stuck open and overcharged. So we'll find it hard to settle, to calm down, because the mind is going to be very, very, very strongly activated. And that sense of reality, now this third eye, that chakra is also connected to the glands inside your brain. And this is where it gets quite freaky, because if the third eye is overactive, we've got too much energy coming in through here, we can have an overactivation of dopamine and sometimes serotonin. Now, these are the chemicals in your brain, the glands up here that are going to be working with that stuff. If there's an overstimulation of those things, we can go into delusion, we can go into hallucination, and we can lose our sense of groundedness and reality. It is very common in bipolar and schizophrenia for underactive production of these different hormones or overproduction of these different hormones. So I have found that in individuals with bipolar, there is a high state of energy and an overstimulation of energy inside that third eye. The third eye will be going very, very fast. So take that all into context and then put this Kundalini, this powerful source of creator energy and the vitality of universal life starting, right? And you bring that up here and center it in there without control. And so you can see how it could be very messy, right? When it's stuck in one place and it hasn't been brought back down, you will turn everything out of kilter. Because if it's stuck in the heart and it overstimulates, you might find yourself getting into extreme anxiety, extreme heart palpitation, pulling and tugging on your heart. Meanwhile, everything else gets thrown out of balance because of that overstimulation in the center. Okay, so we always want to bring our Kundalini back down to its house, down at the base of the spine. And hopefully this shows you a little bit of understanding as to why. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is a visualization to help you. If your Kundalini is not where it should be, we're just going to tap in, tune in to find out where it is, and then make sure it is sitting down at the base of the spine. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so just taking yourself into a nice and comfortable position. I want you to close down your eyes. Make sure that you're not so comfortable you'll fall asleep. And when you're ready, what I want you to do is just bring your awareness to the room that you're in, to the body, the vessel that you sit in. And I want you to imagine that you're sitting inside a beautiful sacred space. You might like to visualize that there's a crystal around the room. And around your body. Now, as you breathe, I want you to visualize that there's a beautiful anchor going from the base of your spine down into the middle of the earth. Breathing in, I want you to feel the rise and the fall of your stomach as you breathe. Don't breathe too fast or too slow. I just want you to breathe naturally. Allow your shoulders to soften, your hips, and the muscles behind your ears. Right, letting go of your day. Just give yourself permission to be here now. And I want you to visualize for a moment inside your mind that you're standing in a garden. If you can't see it, don't worry. Just intend. Now inside this garden, you look around, you notice the trees, and you look up, and you're blinded by the sun for a moment. I want you to take in a nice deep breath. And exhale, letting go of any tension from your day. Bringing yourself back into a nice soft rhythm. We're here to double check and find out where your Kundalini energy is currently sitting. So here in the space of this garden, I want you to bring your mind's eye inward. Remember, if you can't see, just go with the feeling. And I want you to ask your body, your mind, and your spirit to indicate where in your body your Kundalini is currently sitting. Where is this powerful creator energy? And it should be sitting in dormancy at the base of the spine. If this is where your mind goes, brilliant. You're in the right place. If it is safely, soundly, dormant, and asleep, I want to welcome you to come back out from this meditation and open your eyes. But for those of you who have found and sensed that this light is somewhere else, I want you to bring your awareness to that space now. Wherever that may be. Is it in your chest? Is it in your third eye? Maybe it's in your solar plexus. What I want you to do with bringing awareness to that spot, taking a nice deep breath again, and I want you to visualize that the source energy, Kundalini, is very slowly going back down through the channel in the middle of your body. I want you to visualize that it goes down, heading back down through the spine. And as it goes down, heading towards the base of your spine, it's going to bring some of that excess energy back down with it. So I want you to visualize light traveling back down. Maybe excess light from different chakras is also going to move down through the channel, through the spine. And it helps to bring a restful state back into the Kundalini. And as you see that light slowing, going down, it stops at that base. I want you to take in a nice slow breath. As you exhale, you allow it to go back to sleep. Now the next thing that we're going to do is disperse. So any energy that is still left inside the chakras, it shouldn't be there. It's just going to slowly dissipate. Extra charge is going to be released out either into the universe or into the earth, wherever it needs to go. I want you to see that light just slowly drift out. And visualize that it returns to source, returns to earth, wherever it needs to go. Alright, and before we finish, we're just going to bring a nice soft and grounding energy back into your system. So I want you to take in another deep breath. As you exhale, you bring awareness back into your hands and your feet. I want you to ask and visualize that the universe now please provide you with the right light or the right crystal energy that you require in order to ground and reintegrate your energy system. So I want you to see that this beautiful light comes down from above and very slowly moves over your head.
And as it moves down through all of your fields, moving out around you, you can feel the grounding. You can feel the solidarity. And how any place inside your chakras, inside your field, that might have been disrupted, slowly weave and knit themselves back together with this energy. Grounding light moves down through your legs, through your root chakra, so what I want you to do now is just take 3 simple breaths. And on your third, I want you to come back into the room. Come back into the here and now. If you're ready, if you would like to, feel free to journal and to write down anything that you saw, felt, or heard. Please open your eyes when you're ready.